In today's video, we shall talk about a wreck that is largely unknown, the SS Yongala. She was a passenger steamship built in England in 1903, but on the 23rd of March 1911, she sank in a cyclone off the coast of Queensland, with the loss of all 122 passengers and crew aboard. The wreck, lying off Cape Bowling Green, remained hidden for decades until she was finally found in 1958. Today, she is known as a popular wreck diving site. In this video, we'll tell the full little-known story of the Yongala, from her building up through her years of service, to the tragic night she was lost beneath the waves, and finally, to her discovery. In 1903, the renowned shipbuilders Sir W.G. Armstrong, Whitworth and Company set to work at their Low Walker shipyard in Newcastle upon Tyne, crafting a pair of elegant passenger and cargo steamships for the Adelaide Steamship Company. One of these vessels would become particularly famous, the Yongala. Named after the town of Yongala in South Australia, her name comes from the Ngajuri language, meaning broad water or broad wide watering place, a fitting tribute to a ship destined to sail the open seas. The Yongala was a substantial vessel, boasting a gross registered tonnage of 3,664, stretching 350 feet in length with a beam of 45.2 feet. The Yongala was powered by a single screw, driven by a 3-cylinder triple expansion engine crafted by the Wallsend Slipway Company. Steam was supplied by 5 single-ended boilers, whose furnaces consumed around 67 tons of coal each day. Her engine was rated at 690 horsepower, giving her a respectable top speed of 60 knots. The Yongala was designed to carry 110 first-class and 130 second-class passengers, alongside a cargo capacity of around 3,000 tons. The ship was fitted with electric lighting throughout, ensuring comfort and convenience for those on board. On her forecastle, a direct-acting steam windlass and capstan made handling the anchor effortless, while 2 steam cranes and 7 winches with derricks allowed her to manage cargo efficiently. A specially arranged steam and hand steering gear was installed in a house at the aft end of the fantail, controllable directly from the bridge, giving her precise maneuverability. For perishable goods, Yongala featured 10,000 cubic feet of refrigerated space, 3,000 cubic feet chilled for vegetables and provisions, and 7,000 cubic feet dedicated to frozen meat. The Yongala was launched on 28 May 1903 and completed later that December. She set out on her delivery voyage from Southampton, England on the 9th of October 1903. During the crossing of the Bay of Biscay, she encountered heavy weather and sustained some damage, but pressed on, stopping at Las Palmas and Cape Town before arriving at Fremantle on the 24th of November. On the next leg, from Fremantle to Adelaide, rumors circulated that the Yongala had raced the Orient Steam Navigation Company's mail ship, the RMS Orizaba, with the Yongala allegedly emerging victorious. The Adelaide Steamship Company, however, publicly denied that any race had taken place. The Yongala arrived at Port Adelaide on the 30th of November, where shareholders of the Adelaide Steamship Company had the chance to inspect her. The ship continued on to Melbourne, reaching the city on the 3rd of December, and finally made her way to Grafton Wharf in Sydney on the 6th of December. By 1905, the Yongala was regularly plying the route between Fremantle and Sydney, calling at Adelaide and Melbourne along the way. In 1906, her summer schedule was extended to Brisbane, making it Australia's longest interstate shipping route at 2,700 nautical miles, and the Yongala was the first ship to operate it. From 1907 to 1911, during the winter months, she shifted to a different route, connecting Melbourne and Cairns instead. On 14 March 1911, the Yongala set out on her 99th voyage in Australian waters under the command of Captain William Knight. The ship departed Melbourne with 72 passengers and arrived in Brisbane on the 20th of March. There, most of her Melbourne passengers disembarked, while new passengers boarded for the next leg up the Queensland coast. Among the cargo were the Racehorse Moonshine and a Lincoln Red Bull. Highlighting the variety of passengers and goods she carried, a harbour inspection at Brisbane reported that Yongala was in excellent trim, ready for the journey ahead. The Yongala arrived at Mackay on the morning of 23rd March and departed at 1:40 p.m., bound for Townsville. On board were 29 first-class passengers, 19 second-class passengers, 72 crew members, and 677 tons of cargo. Shortly after leaving Mackay, and before she had disappeared from sight of land, the Flat Top Island Signal Station received a telegram warning of a tropical cyclone between Townsville and Mackay. The station quickly sent out flag and wireless telegraph signals, prompting several ships to seek refuge at Mackay. However, the Yongala did not see the warnings. A wireless telegraph set, recently dispatched from England by the Marconi Company, had been intended for installation aboard the Yongala, but it had not yet arrived in Australia. 5 hours after departing Mackay, the keeper of Dent Island Light observed the Yongala entering Whitsunday Passage. That was her final known sighting. That night, 23rd to 24th March, a cyclone sank the ship, claiming the lives of everyone on board. Contemporary newspapers reported 120 or 121 passengers and crew, but modern research places the total at no fewer than 122. The discrepancy is due to young children, servants, and members of ethnic minorities being left off official records. When the Yongala failed to arrive in Townsville on schedule, it was initially assumed that, like many other vessels, she had sought shelter from the cyclone. However, on the 26th of March, she was officially declared missing. Queensland's Premier, Digby Denham, ordered a search involving 7 ships. Soon after, wreckage began washing ashore along the coast between Hinchinbrook Island and Bowen. Among the debris, the body of the Racehorse Moonshine was discovered at Gordon Creek, but no trace of the passengers or crew was ever found. The Queensland government offered a reward of £1,000 for any information that could lead to the ship's discovery, but as no claims were made, the offer was eventually withdrawn. It was believed that the Yongala had either been swallowed by the cyclone's fury or had struck one of the many hidden dangers along the coast, perhaps a reef between Flinders Passage and Keeper Reef, Nares Rock, or even Cape Upstart. In the days that followed the tragedy, a Yongala Distress Fund was established to help support the families left behind. For years, donations poured in, offering some relief to the dependents of those lost at sea. Eventually, on the 30th of September 1914, the fund was closed. The 900 pounds that remained was handed over to the Queensland Shipwreck Society. From the 8th to the 20th of June 1911, the Marine Board of Queensland investigated the disappearance of the Yongala. The inquiry focused on the vessel's seaworthiness, her stability and equipment, as well as the conduct of her master, Captain Knight. The board found no shortcomings in the ship's condition, drawing on the design information supplied by the Adelaide Steamship Company, results of her sea trials, and her 7 years of trouble-free service. Captain Knight, too, was, beyond reproach, regarded as one of the company's finest masters. He had served for 14 years without incident. In its final statement, the board refused to speculate, declaring instead that the fate of the Yongala passes beyond human ken into the realms of conjecture, to add one more to the long roll of mysteries of the sea. In 1943, a minesweeper became entangled on what was believed to be a shoal, located 11 miles east of Cape Bowling Green. Its commander recorded the obstruction on his chart, noting a depth of roughly 13 fathoms along the route to Townsville. 4 years later, in June 1947, the survey vessel HMAS Lachlan examined the site using echo sounding and anti-submarine equipment. The survey revealed a formation about 300 feet long, lying in 6 fathoms of water and surrounded by depths of 12 to 14 fathoms. The findings suggested that the feature could in fact be the wreck of a steamship. In 1958, a local fisherman, Bill Kirkpatrick, found the wreck and recovered artifacts, including a safe from one of the cabins. The safe contained only black sludge, but part of the safe's serial number was legible, 9825W. In 1961, Chubb in England identified this as the number of the safe that it supplied to Armstrong, Whitworth & Co. in 1903 for the cabin of Yongala's purser. The wreck of Yongala lies within the central section of the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park. She rests about 48 nautical miles southeast of Townsville and 12 nautical miles east of Cape Bowling Green. Measuring 109 meters in length, the wreck sits with her bow aligned on a bearing of 347 degrees, listing heavily to starboard at an angle of 60 to 70 degrees. Despite this, the hull remains structurally intact. The seabed beneath lies at a depth of around 30 meters, with the shallowest parts of the wreck rising to just 16 meters below the surface. The seabed surrounding the wreck is open and sandy, allowing the Yongala to serve as an established artificial reef. Her complex structure provides habitat for a wide variety of marine life. In 1981, marine biologist Leon Zand sketched the wreck, and much of her superstructure remains as depicted in his drawing. However, a significant accumulation of sand along the starboard side has since been washed away, and some ventilators and railings have collapsed. The wreck is protected under the Commonwealth Underwater Cultural Heritage Act 2018 and is managed by the Museum of Tropical Queensland in Townsville. The legislation prohibits penetration diving and any interference with artifacts. Today, the Yongala stands as one of North Queensland's premier dive sites, drawing over 10,000 recreational divers each year to explore her vast 110-meter-long remains. Lying largely intact on the sandy seabed, the wreck has become a thriving underwater world, teeming with marine life. And there you have it, the full story of the Yongala, a ship whose elegance and promise were tragically cut short by the fury of the sea, from her construction in England to her decades-long disappearance. And finally, to her discovery lying quietly beneath the waves, Yongala's story reminds us of both the power of nature and the enduring fascination of maritime history. Today, she may rest on the seabed as a vibrant haven for marine life. But the memory of those 122 souls lost that fateful night goes on, preserved not only in history, but in the wreck that continues to captivate divers and historians alike. And that marks the end of a video, my friends. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now, if you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing to the channel, as that would help out the channel a lot. Now, if you have any thoughts, comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section down below, as I absolutely love reading your comments. And please let me know in the comment section down below as well what ships you would like me to cover in the future. Now be as well sure to check out our social media pages. We are on Twitter, we are on Instagram, and we also recently have a website, oldshippinglines.com, where we have articles of the ships we cover and we have book reviews as well. I think you will enjoy the website very much. Now, with that out of the way, guys, I wish you all a good night or day, wherever you are. Stay safe, stay happy, and we will see each other on the next video. Goodbye, my friends.